Rush today featuring Evil Geniuses Academy versus TSM Academy. I am Sam Cage in the Rage Ragey, and we are in for a humdinger of a showdown as these two teams are looking to get to the top of the standings. As you can see by their records, 8-7 versus 10-5. So very, very close to the top. TSM Academy, unfortunately, losing out yesterday means they are no longer in that top spot, tied with Cloud9 Academy. Evil Geniuses Academy, in the meanwhile, still very, very close to the top. You can see a win here would mean so much for them. Able to get close to the top of the standings, maybe even get to that coveted second place spot, because we are in close to playoffs. Week 8, definitely an important week for both sides, as they are both trying to get playoff contention as well as playoff seeding. If you can get that coveted second place, we'll be able to get that bye on round 1. So both these teams going to be playing very hard, and if anything is to be judged about this game, it's the last time these two teams faced off. Evil Geniuses Academy, they took a very strong early lead against TSM Academy in Week 3, but unfortunately, after a 47-minute bloodbath, TSM was able to come back, able to get just enough advantage the entire time to hold Evil Geniuses Academy accountable and really take them out. As you can see from the champ select, Set going to be the jungling choice for Winston, and Anda going to be taking away the Graves. I would say that this was a pretty genius move by TSM Academy, as Winston unfortunately got his jungler taken away. They did manage to lock in the set pretty early on, and this is a pretty good counter. It's not quite the Trundle or Graves that Winston has played for 80% of his games, but I still feel that he's a pretty confident jungler, able to really get advantages early, push in, and find the gank opportunities that he's looking for. So if he's able to play the style that he wants to, he's going to be looking pretty strong. Switching over to the top side, Kumo going to be against Dokla, the bear versus alligator matchup that those of you from Florida will know oh so well. The wildlife there, vicious. As we do see in the bot side, the frog versus Scuba Man. Also going to be a pretty vicious matchup, as both sides are just going to look to protect their AD carries as much as possible, but Matt has the engage potential, and that's going to be very important for the overall team comp of Evil Geniuses Academy. Just looking over, you have a Graves jungle and a Volley Bear top, so the engage pretty limited. Gyu might be able to come in with a nice Destiny, but otherwise, it's all going to be on Matt. If Matt manages to get a good hook, he wins the fight. If Matt goes in a little too early or away from his team, then there's no way for Evil Geniuses to come back. So we'll have to see how this plays out. TSM Academy, in the meanwhile, going to be all sorts of engage on their side. We do see Kumo getting a little bit of damage onto Dokla, actually getting him down to about 2/3, not too much. Kumo actually gets him down to half. Pretty nice trading coming in from the bear. You could see as well, and on the side might be looking for this one. Pretty nice gank potential, as Dokla going to be continuing to push the wave. You can see how it is, in fact, pushing towards Evil Geniuses Academy side. This is an ideal situation. You just need Anda to show up. You can see you as well, motioning towards the top side. Maybe just trying to put a little fear into Evolved. Think that maybe everyone is going top side. Dokla going to ward up, make sure that everything is hunky-dory, but unfortunately, warded the wrong spot, and it is not, in fact, hunky-dory. Kumo going to be looking aggressive, and that scares Dokla off. He backs up, smokescreen goes down, and manages to get a little bit extra damage. Oh, that's actually a lot of damage. Kumo might look for the tower dive. He does go in for it. Kumo, oh no, it flashed away, and Kumo gets executed. No! Such a close play coming in from Evil Geniuses Academy, but unfortunately, just not enough CC to keep Dokla off of the turret, and that final flash coming in from Dokla meant there was no way Kumo got that kill. Luckily, it was an execute, so not the end of the world, but still, probably going to have to use a summoner spell, and does, just to get back to top lane. Dokla, in the meanwhile, content just to walk on back, and it just feels bad. Evil Geniuses Academy, they had the aggression, they had the positioning, and Anda was perfectly primed to get that gank off. It just didn't work out in their favor. And speaking of ganks going in your favor, Winston might be looking for something of his own. Is going to be in the bush. You can see Kuma as well. Going to be just kind of sitting on there. Gyu takes a little bit of harass, but is safe for the moment. There's Kumo landing onto Winston. Winston does manage to flash backwards. Evolve might be looking to go in. He might be looking for the greed. Gyu pushes the wave, backs up the turret. All right. So both sides, gank unsuccessful, actually resulting in the loss of summoner spells. In TSM's case, does lose the flash, but has the Hex Tech flash. You know what I mean. The secondary flash, just in case it doesn't work out. So while he's not completely... That teleport... What was that teleport? You teleports into lane with Biofrost and Evolved. Will be going down very shortly. Uses the flash. Might actually get away from this. It's looking close. Biofrost flashes forward. Evolved flashes forward. And that's going to be first blood going to the Sylas. Evolved capitalizing on what would be called a very questionable teleport from the mid laner of Evil Geniuses Academy. Perhaps a misclick, perhaps didn't see the Frogman. He is camouflaged after all in his sushi disguise. Very difficult to tell exactly what's going on. But Evil Geniuses Academy, that's 2 mistakes in a row. Definitely not what you're looking for at this early stage in the game. Winston, at the same time, going to be pushing onto this control ward. Might be looking for the dive against Kumo, but Kumo is looking very, very strong himself. Dokla just positioning aggressively for the moment. Will be forced to back off, knowing that the jungler is completely out of there. On the bot side, though, pretty peaceful for the most part. Can't expect too much aggression in an Ashe Tahm Kench lane. There's just so much protection that can go down, whether it be from the slows of Ashe or the nom-noms of the Tahm Kench. Definitely going to be able to push up just a little bit, get some damage in, but the wave very much in TSM Academy's favor. The dragon that spawned in will be the Ocean Dragon. So we'll see which team decides to prioritize that. For the moment, it's looking like because of the back timing of Winston, Anda is actually going to be moving towards the bot side. Might look for Dragon himself. Curious to see whether or not the rest of the team collapses. And top side, Dokla going to be going in onto Kumo. Actually gets a ton of damage down. Won't be able to fully finish that one off, but it's okay. As we do see Kumo just backing off, taking the wave, and being comfortable where he is right now. Yes, he's down in some CS, but once he takes the wave, it'll be completely even. Definitely a map. Meanwhile, pushing up the wave. This might just allow for a little bit more dragon control. It's exactly what Evil Geniuses Academy are looking for at this point in the game. Trying to get that river vision more than anything else. You can see Gyu does have the ultimate ready, just in case. I believe Evolved also has, yep, the Twisted Fate ult, the Destiny, ready whenever he wants to use it. And for the moment, Anda is just content to take this control. I like the rotation coming in from Matt as well. Get the vision, make sure Winston is spotted out. They do see him on the bot side of the jungle. And that's going to force the back off from Evil Geniuses Academy. They could have gone for Dragon if he wasn't there, but not in the cards, as Gyu would say on the Twisted Fate. Jokes aside, it's just going to be Winston going towards the bot side. Might look for this bush. It's looking like it's being pinged out. The vision ward going to be very important here. Winston gets found out. There's the teleport coming in. Gyu ultimates, and that's going to be Winston getting stunned up and dead. Gyu with a very nice pick there. They saw what was coming. They were able to use the Twisted Fate ult to its best possible degree, and Gyu walks away with a kill. This means Dragon Control fully in Evil Genius Academy favor, and this is looking pretty darn good in the early game after a couple of early game guffaws, as you might notice. Evil Geniuses Academy will be able to get this dragon pretty freely. And curious to see whether or not they decide to go for this Rift Herald that is just spawned in, or if Winston decides to make the first move onto that. Kumo going to be taking some bad trades in the meanwhile. Dokla still full health. The bear at about half. As we do see Set starting it up. Winston, seeing that his top lane is doing so well, does go for the neutral objective. Looks like Evolved has joined him. And that's going to be a pretty good get for this team. TSM Academy, even though they lose out on the dragon and that Winston death, will be able to pick up the neutral objective for this. Looking at Gyu not having ultimate and Anda not being in the area. Going to be really tough to contest that. It's going to go down momentarily. Dokla in the top side might just take a little bit of damage for himself. Does go down actually pretty low here, but because it's Renekton, you have so much healing potential that going low health doesn't necessarily mean that you've lost lane or that you even need to let up on the aggression. But you know what does mean you need to let up on the aggression? A jungler coming out, and Anda forces the back. He also knows that that bush is now warded. The try top side, very dangerous to try to approach from either side. As Winston is going to be backing off himself, going towards the top side of the jungle, pinging down Caution onto the red buff. Might think that Anda's there, just because of the vision control coming in on the north side of the river from Evil Geniuses Academy. Definitely good to make sure you know where the opponent is and to not take any risky plays at this point in the game, because Anda, definitely a fighter at this point in the game. A great jungler that knows exactly when to go in, and especially with the Graves takeaway against Winston, both teams know exactly what the other can do. And Winston, in the 1v1, definitely not going to win out against Graves at this point in the game. And speaking of this point in the game, bot side. It's been pretty back and forth, but again, there's no real aggressive possibility without a gank. Lost does have the enchanted crystal arrow, just in case there is another member of his team ready to show up. But just in the 2v2, there's nothing that you can really push on. You can't go against an Ashe Tahm Kench. You can't really go on to either Jhin or Nautilus without the other completely messing up your day. So it's going to take intervention by Winston, which it looks like he is rotating towards the bot side. Might go for this turret dive, but considering how turret dives have gone thus far in the game, might want to back out of this one. Instead, just pops the Rift Herald. Might get a couple plates for himself. You can see Anda in the area as well, ready to dissuade the dive, should it happen. Rift Herald going to get a couple plates, and I like that Winston just backs off, because he knows that there isn't much for him to gain in terms of gold, and if he gives that over to Lost and Biofrost, that does rhyme. That's a lot of fun. Maybe that was the reason for the switch. Then they'll be in a very good position and might be able to push onto Deathly and Matt. And still sticking around this bot side. Might look to back. Probably the good idea right here. Oh no, actually it doesn't complete the back. That's a bit of a risky play. It seems like TSM Academy know about this and have backed off, but mid side, Yu and Evolved have just been going back and forth. In terms of CS and gold, it's looking pretty darn even between the two. Both have completed items at this point. Hextech GLP versus Rod of Ages, which is going to be stacking up for the moment. No completed boots to speak of. Bot side, pretty much the same. Half items all around. And top side, I like that Kumo actually went for the boots first. I feel like that's pretty useful against a Renekton, trying to win out the lane and stop the 4-1 that this team eventually wants to go for. Specifically with Renekton and a Twisted Fate Sylas matchup, you have so much potential to collapse onto your lone member that you can't really risk it. Or you can actually risk it in the 4-1, put Renekton alone, maybe ask him to join in fights once he's strong enough, but until then you can just pressure on the lanes, use that to win through the game. Kumo going to be back and forth against Dokla. You can see the level disadvantage coming in from that death that happened earlier. And this is going to be pretty bad news bears. See what I did there? For Kumo as he tries to back off, get some vision for himself. Winston is on the mid side of the map. He's at his Raptors right now. Could look for top. So that's why the vision, although very good in the topside river, still carries some risk. Still have to worry about that Tribush, which again is warded, but once that's gone, Winston will be able to completely dominate that side and maybe go for the gank. Trap going to be placed. It's down. We can see it. Winston and Biofrost going to be the gruesome twosome as they continue to move through the river, trying to get a little bit of vision advantage. Might look for the mid dive, but still risky. Even with the Tahm Kench, you do have to worry about the possibility of getting messed up by that gold card, as well as the Graves response. Speaking of which, Anda going to be moving towards the bot side river. Going to be a catch onto, actually, Biofrost. Biofrost going to go low, gets golden for the moment. Matt now forward, will be moving, but Biofrost flashes away. Curtain Call comes out. Teleports coming in from all sides. Here comes the Twisted Fate. Ultimate gold card lands on the Biofrost. He goes down. Now it's Set left alone. And Winston in the back doesn't have long to live, but will continue running as actually Gyu is now the focus. Dokla going to be going into the middle of all 4 members. Does manage to pick one up. That's going to be Matt going down. And now the focus is on to Evolved. Winston still alive in the back, but Ashe versus Jhin? That actually goes to Lost as he manages to pick that one up. Kumo now in a lot of trouble, forced to flash over the wall, but he does get away safely. And in that fight, with the dragon now up, that's going to be Evil Geniuses Academy losing out 2 members versus the one that they got against Biofrost. But more than that, the Dragon going to be going over to TSM Academy, and Lost going to be able to get pressure in the bot side. So great plays coming in from TSM to respond to the catch onto Biofrost that we saw, and definitely Winston playing that one especially well, able to get out of that situation alive, even going into the wrong side jungle, just because of the aggression that came in from Dokla, who was able to teleport in and really make a difference in that fight. Also, we do have to look at the mid difference now. After that fight, Evolve did manage to get one of the kills. He has completed the Seeker's Arm Guard, as well as the Stopwatch, so he will be safe for the next fight, at the very least, and probably going for an early Zhonya's. At the same time, both bot lanes have rotated towards the top side, and this Rift Herald might just be under contest. We'll have to see what Anda decides to do, as Winston does seem to have more advantage towards the top side, and might be going for this objective first. You can see Lost just kind of farming up, getting what he can at this point to push out the wave. Gyu and Evolved. Although Evolved is ahead, this still isn't a fully won matchup. Evolved doesn't feel confident just taking the 1v1 fight, so does move towards Biofrost, who is there to back him up. Dokla as well, also moving towards the mid side. You can see how many control wards that they've placed on that bot side river. 3 going towards the banana bush, as it's sometimes called, as well as 1 in the pixel. So pretty confident that Dokla will be safe for the time being, as well as gank opportunities abound for the side of TSM Academy. Oh, here comes the gank potential. Biofrost going to ult in. Definitely going to be the target. Actually, it's Matt going to be changed up. And that's Winston going to go down. Nice dive coming in. Going to be able to pick up the support. And unfortunately, the kill goes over to Biofrost. But that's still a free 1-for-0. Winston playing that one especially well. Able to really Churchill his way out of that one. TSM now moving towards the Rift Herald. Going to be able to get a little bit for themselves, I should say. As Evil Geniuses Academy, they really can't move in towards this squad. They know that this objective is gone, and it is just not worth it to take the deaths. You can see Kumo also pushing the bot side simultaneously. Might be able to get some turret damage for himself. I don't know if that's the full turret. Nope, not quite yet. Dokla going to have to rotate back around, see if he can defend the bear. Lost and Biofrost, meanwhile, going to be continuing the top side push. Looks like the Rift Herald not going to be placed quite yet. Didn't feel confident in just taking the top turret. They want to instead, on the side of TSM, wait to put it in the mid and perhaps get that turret down as quickly as possible so that Twisted Fate is no longer safe and Gyu has to rotate to the sidelines. And going to be just picking up some CS. He has been doing really well in terms of the jungle game. Is up 30 CS right now in terms of kill participation. About the same, 100% versus 75%. But that's 2 kills to 3 assists. A good position to be in, certainly, but unfortunately, Graves, not the biggest difference maker in these team fights. It's all about the positioning and whether or not Set gets a fantastic ult, because Winston can be down CS. He can still make a giant impact in these fights. You could see 800 gold lead going over to Anda, definitely making up for the top difference right now. Dokla definitely leading over Kumo, and on the bot side, pretty much even. Mid, pretty much even. Supports because of the kill. Biofrost is ahead, but that's definitely not where you want your gold. And overall, 600 gold lead going over to TSM. Not very impactful as of late, but eventually that could balloon out of control. It's all about how they take these fights and whether or not Lost can stay safe. Biofrost going to get a little lick onto Matt, but that tongue, not going to get him. Takes more than 1 to get to the center of this support. As we do see Gyu and Evolved in the mid lane continuing to duke it out. Not quite committing to the side lane pressure yet, as Anda has decided to come towards the mid side. Biofrost and Lost might be looking to go aggressive here. Matt actually gets caught out a little bit here. Matt with a face breaker, able to get a little bit of damage in CC. Onto Matt, who's going low. Aftershock is now down. Biofrost moves forward, and this is very aggressive from TSM Academy. Gyu now on the side. Winston very, very low. Arrow comes out. Winston manages to get away safely. Here comes the curtain call as well. Winston, 1 more shot away, but Evolved is now the focus. Goes golden for the moment. Lost takes a couple more shots for himself and gets out of there safely. Evil Geniuses Academy, though, they're not done yet. They do push forward. Here comes the Nautilus ult from the Silas, as Matt manages to land a fantastic hook onto Biofrost, but Matt may have pushed too far forward. Evolved goes back in. Winston goes back in. Where did he come from? Does manage to die, but gets 1 in the process. Evolved picks up the kill. Gyu now in the sights of TSM does go down. Anda going to be the next target. Flashes out of the stun coming in from Evolved. Definitely going to be moving back, but Anda gets flashed on, and that's going to be Evolved with the triple kill. Big plays from TSM Academy. It looked like a good catch at first, but then after back and forth action, they managed to pull out on top. Great vision control and great teamwork coming out of this squad. Evil Geniuses Academy, they had the option of maybe Kumo backing or going for the teleport, but the thing about this Renekton versus Volibear matchup, they can both cancel each other's teleports. So it's a game of chicken as to whether or not you go back, and you have to imagine Dokla knew this. Speaking of which, Dokla actually going aggressive. The teleport does come in from Evolved. He's looking for more kills. Teleport from Gyu as well. The dragon is spawned in, so whoever wins this fight has a very good chance of getting dragon. Evolved getting a little bit, but the ult comes in from Evolved. The Twisted Fate ult, and Volibear is forced to ult back Stormbreaker. Good enough to survive for now. Evolved almost gets the kill, but doesn't quite. Gyu pushes up forward, but that's a top laner that has to back. And that dragon control that I was just talking about, gonna be in the sights of TSM Academy. who have now ballooned their gold lead to a staggering 1,500 gold. Again, still not the end of the world, but definitely something to keep an eye on. As that lead continues to grow, that's where they can push their objectives. And you can see TSM Academy more than happy to play the slow game. They do make an aggressive play, but they don't go over-aggressive, and I think that's going to be the defining feature of this matchup. Because if I remember back to that Game 3, or the Week 3 game between these two teams, it was all about the throws. Who is going to make the better move? Who is going to make the bigger mistake? Because when it came down to that game, 48 minutes on the clock at the end of the game, back and forth. I believe the gold lead never got past 1,000 on either side. Evil Geniuses able to claw their way back up as much as they could, but TSM take it in the end. Let's see if history repeats itself. But so far, this has been a pretty brawly game. Just going back and forth, seeing who can get the better pick. And TSM, so far the aggressors, except for the very first play where Kumo died to an execute and didn't manage to get a kill. Evil Geniuses Academy, they still have a lot of options in their playbook. They could still go for this top side. It looks like that turret will go down. No pressure going to be offered by Dokla, knowing that Anda might have been in the area, as well as the rotation coming in from Deftly and Matt. So very nice turret take as on the bot side. Simultaneous turret take, but that means the mid is open now. And you can see the pings going in onto Lost. Might just look for this Ashe. Looking pretty juicy. But Biofrost is also there. This isn't going to work out the way you hoped. Evil Genius says, don't push too far. Looks like they do back off at just the right time. They try to get onto Lost, but again, that's the problem with the team comp that's been drafted by TSM Academy. There's always a way for Lost to get out. This Ashe is always going to be safe, and because of how the meta is, so important to keep your harass AD carry alive. Taking a look at the gold lead right now, Lost does have a small lead, about 500 against his laning opponent. The mid lane has broken open just a little bit. Evolve now getting a significant lead, but Anda keeps the jungle in Evil Geniuses Academy's side. This is something that we really do have to respect, is this Graves pick really being important to both sides. And TSM Academy, when they were drafting, probably should have prioritized this just a little bit more, because as good as the set is, if you take away one of Winston's true comfort picks where he could really go aggressive, it really takes away from how much pressure TSM Academy as a whole is able to put down. And yes, they've been winning this early game very well, and Winston's been playing it also very well on a relatively uncomfortable champion, at least untested in competitive. But you have to feel like with the Graves, they could have drafted an entirely different composition and felt a little more comfortable getting into the zone against Evil Geniuses Academy, who they had such a close game with before. And the blue turret does manage to go down, so TSM Academy find themselves 2 turrets to 2 turrets as Volibear manages to pick up the bot side. Kumo still just going to stay on the split push for the moment. Evolve going to be pressuring the top side with Winston as a support, as well as, I believe, Biofrost is there as well. Yep. Going to be able to just make sure their mid laner is completely safe and out of harm's way. The Baron has spawned in. Neither team has made truly aggressive moves in that direction yet, but mostly because they worry about the collapse coming in from Gyu. TSM Academy really don't have a lot of options other than to get a pick first and then go for the Baron. Otherwise, they're just going to get completely wrecked by the Curtain Call as well as the Destiny. Matten definitely trying to defend this turret as best they can. Looks like Lost is the only member of TSM to push it, though, so we'll be safe for the moment. But a turret at about that health, 25% or less, at this stage in the game, not long for this world. It's all about when TSM Academy decides to push down this lane and really dictate the pace of this game. This has been a pretty close back and forth. Evil Geniuses Academy, they do have to make moves towards the dragon, though, as the next one spawning in will be the third for TSM Academy, and from there, becomes very easy to decide where to go. Just get the soul, 1 minute on that dragon, as we were just talking about. Going to be important that TSM picks this up so that they have Baron control as well as soul contest. Very difficult for Evil Geniuses Academy to deal with if they don't deal with TSM first. And it's looking like a bit of a stall out for the moment. Nice catch onto Winston, but no real follow-up damage. He's going to be safe and hunky-dory. Evil Geniuses Academy, they're trying to push towards this bot side of the river. I definitely like this play, getting the vision first and then going for the team fight. Absolutely what you should be focusing on as TSM Academy. They are being passive with their vision. You can see the ward on the back of the Dragon Pit. Going to be relatively important to guard against Anda. But until they get more wards in the river, they can't really contest this objective. Definitely going to be pushing onto the mid, making sure that this turret stays up Maybe TSM just goes for the turret, and it looks like they are making aggressive moves. 4 members. Evolve, the last one remaining. Dokla going to be able to push into the south side river bush from mid. A nice smoke screen comes out. Firefrost taking a lot of harass. Matt now in the crosshairs. Will be focused down a little bit. Enchanted Crystal Arrow lands. Dokla going to be forward. Kumo going to be the new target. Has definitely hits a nice stun, but Evolve goes in onto Gyu, and Gyu is going to be taken down by the Showstopper. Dokla now in the focus, goes low, but actually gets out of that fight. Firefrost able to push forward, as well as Silas. Evolve just out of control in this fight. Goes under turret. What a madman to go for Kumo, who manages to stay up for just a little too long. Definitely still alive, though. Might just pick up that kill. And the second. 2 go down for Evil Geniuses. A third to follow. Definitely picks up the fight where his team left it off. It was a close back and forth, but just a little too much greed from TSM to go forward. And you have to feel so bad about that play if you're on the red side. Yes, you pick up the dragon. Yes, Winston manages to live in that fight once again. But that could have been so much cleaner and led to a Baron. If only you don't go for that dive. Evil Geniuses Academy, they have something to look forward to now as the teleport comes in and they're trying to get this turret. Looking like Lost and Winston don't want to defend it and don't have the capability to against 2 damage-dealing members of Evil Geniuses Academy. So the mid-turrets go down in favor of Evil Geniuses Academy. I was about to say both go down, but TSM actually haven't broken open that mid side yet. So it's looking pretty darn good for them, although could have been much, much cleaner. Evil Geniuses Academy, they know they have to get the Baron vision. Very important at this stage in the game. If they let that objective go, that's when TSM is really going to put on the gas and make it impossible for Evil Geniuses Academy to capitalize on another mistake. TSM Academy, they also try to get topside control, get this 4-1 going with Dokla, and maybe just force Kumo into a bad situation, because if Kumo's not in a fight, it's so difficult for Matt to be the solo tank. He can't stay alive versus that much damage on the other side of TSM. If he gets caught out, he's going to die. The Gargoyle's Stone Plate will be helpful, but it's not enough to deal with all the damage coming in from TSM at this point in the game. Definitely, in the meanwhile, has been playing this phenomenally, and you can see his 3-item completion definitely going to be a huge impact in the fights to come if he can manage to stay safe, which, as it turns out, he's perfectly able to do. As long as Matt heals for him, and as long as Anda manages to put down a good smoke screen or 2, there's a good chance that Jin will just carry a fight at this point. Dokla going to be pushed in a little bit, surprising that Kumo is putting so much aggression down, but at the same time, the rest of the team is pushing in towards the Baron. Do manage to get advantage on the vision at the very least. Not going to be able to start that one up, though, because both sides, at the very least, have a response globally if there's a Baron start. TSM Academy just trying to figure out how they can get this mid-turret at this point, because if they get that down, the map opens up, and they're no longer down a turret, because the gold advantage, it's still in TSM's favor, but we're only down to about 300. What was 1,500 has gone down significantly, and that's just the back-and-forth nature of these 2 teams specifically fighting against each other. Twisted Fate, Destiny comes down from Silas. Looks like the fight is going to start. Enchanted Crystal Arrow lands onto Matt, who's in a lot of trouble right here. Has to deal with 5 damage dealers as the teleports come in, and Matt's going to go down. Kumo now in the middle of the fight. Curtain Call goes down on the backside. Kumo's not long for this world. Manages to flash out and actually lives. That's going to be a nice fight coming in from TSM Academy. They find the pick, they get out. Health bars are low, but none of them are at 0. They're forced to back off, though, and that might just lead Evil Geniuses Academy to push forward and maybe get an objective for themselves. Enchanted Crystal Arrow is also down, so the pick potential coming in from the other side not going to be as strong, especially at this point. Back timing for Evil Geniuses Academy. They know that even though members of TSM Academy did have to back, there's still a lot that they need to do in order to secure a Baron objective at this point in the game. Lost going to be backing as well. Probably has quite a bit of gold after that last fight. Has 2.5 items completed. The QSS specifically very important to not get caught out against the Twisted Fate. And also the BF Sword just going to add a little bit of extra damage, which is necessary at this point in the game, despite the fact TSM Academy very, very strong. And we'll be looking at Kumo, who gets caught out. Very nice global play coming in from TSM Academy, and with the dragon not quite spawning in, it feels a little early to be going for that kill, but it's a-okay. You still get the top laner, you still have the side lane control on both sides with Evolved and Dokla, and the Baron is up. So if you want to go for that Baron, it is absolutely the time to do it. The tank is gone. Matt not going to be able to serve as that purpose anymore. And the mid turret for TSM Academy finally falls. Evil Geniuses Academy finally are in a bad position. They have to figure out a way to not get caught out. They have to push forward when they find the options, but the Dragon's spawning up, and this is Soul coming up for TSM Academy. If they manage to pick this up, it'll be even harder to get the picks that are necessary for Evil Geniuses. So they really want to fight this one out, get the vision objectives, or get the vision control, push the objectives that they need, and Evil Geniuses Academy might have a chance of getting back into this game. Twisted Fate teleport comes in, this time from the proper character, and we'll be able to spot out TSM Academy. They decide not to go in and instead use it for side lane control on the side of Evil Geniuses Academy. Dragon spawning up in about 15 seconds here. Kumo might get caught out here. Does take a lot of damage already. Ults over the wall and saves himself. But now Matt is in trouble. Actually, nice stun lands onto Anda. Matt, now the focus, does use the stone plate. Is very tanky at this point. Flashes backwards. The aggro is changing left and right from TSM. And that's a little too far from Winston. This is the fight turner. This is where Deftly and Gyu shine. TSM Academy, they thought they had it. Here comes the flash forward from Gyu, going in on to Lost, but Lost puts out a lot of damage. And Gyu goes golden, does manage to save himself. TSM Academy, they push forward just a little bit too hard. They lose out on the fight, and with 5 members left alive, Evil Geniuses Academy feel confident in going for this Baron. The real difference maker in that fight, if we had to look back, think about what happened between Evil Geniuses and TSM. Evil Geniuses, they were able to kite back to their turret. They were able to change the aggro and the focus from TSM, just not able to push forward. And by the time Winston actually decided to commit fully, it was too late. They were under turret, and this is going to be double objectives lost for the play that was made by TSM. There goes the Baron, and the Dragon soon to follow as Lost is unable to compete solo. So now, the control very much in Evil Geniuses' side. We'll be able to push up probably onto the mid turret, I would assume, as Lost going to be trying his best to stay alive. Still 0 deaths in this game. Very impressive from this AD carry. Usually deathless in many of his games, or at least very few deaths in almost all of his games. I think there was only one where he had a negative KDA, but sometimes losses really do pile up, but the wins, that's what you remember. TSM Academy, they're down against this Baron. They have to watch out for the push coming in from Evil Geniuses Academy. The 4-1 likely to come in as well. Gyu no longer has the teleport, so can't really join the bot lane fight. Is going to instead go with the rest of his team. Matt and Anda going to be the tanks to protect these squishies. And hopefully it'll be enough, because if this team can break open the base, that would be enormous for Evil Geniuses Academy. However, the defense coming in from TSM, very, very strong and going to be very tough to deal with. Dokla gets caught up, but no follow-up to speak of. Gyu pushes forward, but oh no! Enchanted Crystal Arrow lands, and that's going to be Gyu in the crosshairs. He goes down immediately. Dokla takes a little bit of damage, but not enough to kill him. Teleport from Kumo means this fight is a 5v5 showdown. Winston going to be the focus, but Bear manages to get over the wall, survive for the moment. There's a nice knockup going in against Matt, and he goes down himself. 5 members strong. TSM, how did you find that? You just getting caught out in the worst possible situation. Loses his life and sacrifices his support's life. And that's going to be a Baron power play completely dismantled by TSM. They capitalize on the mistakes. They push down on this inhibitor turret, and you have to feel like this inhibitor is going down as well. It looked so good for Evil Geniuses, but one catch decides the entire game. Now the momentum has shifted greatly to the red side. It's going to be tough for Kumo to get in, so he completely disengages, and that's definitely the right call at this point. Evil Geniuses, though, they're not done. They still have the Baron, so the potential is there to get a push. They just have to not get caught out a second time, as Lost and the boys just gonna back on off, make sure that they're not caught out themselves. And if they get good backs off, they're not even gonna lose a single turret to this Baron push. Backs do come in. Definitely continues to push on the mid. The members have respawned in Evil Geniuses Academy. They say, you know what? It didn't work last time, but the ARAM might work this time. I believe it was 3rd time's the charm, but for Evil Geniuses Academy and most of the games between Evil Geniuses Academy and TSM, it's more like the 8th try, usually the charm. As we do see, Silas getting caught out a little bit. Biofrost able to save his mid laner, but now he's the focus as the turret goes down. Enchanted Crystal Arrow comes out, manages to stun Gyu, but it's not enough. Biofrost now in the crosshairs. 1 member's already gone down for the side of TSM. That was a big loss as Dokla now in sight of Evil Geniuses Academy. He's now caught out in Narnia, gonna be disappearing for now as it looks like TSM Academy are completely off the rails. And is this actually the game? Is Evil Geniuses gonna win this one off of a mistake, off of a mistake, off of a mistake? It's been back and forth, but now it's looking like this is the push. Evil Geniuses deciding to go onto the turret. Matt lands a nice hook, but it's eaten away, and that's going to be set in a lot of trouble. Winston managing to survive for now. Lands a pretty nice showstopper, or haymaker, but stays alive, goes golden, the turret's down. Evil Geniuses Academy, they're pushing on for the final of the game. Lost and Biofrost, the only two members for TSM, might be able to get a little bit of damage, but a nice hook lands, and that's going to be the eat, that's going to be the death, that's going to be Lost trying his best, but it's not enough. Evil Geniuses Academy win the game!